everybody, how's it going? This is Darrin with GuitarControl.com bringing you this video lesson. And today I want to show you how to play 3 cool riffs from Skid Row. So these are great sounding riffs. They're not too terribly difficult to play. A couple of them have a couple of sections that are kind of iffy. We'll explain that when we get there. So be sure to click on the link in the description for the tabs, and let's get close up and take a look. Alright, so the very first one we want to look at is 18 in Life. So this one we're switching to a clean tone. And we start off with a C sharp minor bar chord. So I've got my first finger barred at the 4th fret across the first 4 strings. Then my middle finger is on the 5th fret of the B string. My 3rd finger is on the 6th fret of the D string. And my 4th finger is on the 6th fret of the G string. So we start off, play the A string, B string, whoops. So we start off A string, B string, G string, and then back to the A string. So that's like 1 and 2 and then for the starting on the downbeat of 3, we have this chord which is B over C sharp. So what we're going to do is we're just going to remove our 2nd, 3rd, and 4th fingers. Just leave our 1st finger barred. And now we're going to go B, G, D, A, and then a hammer on to the 6th fret of the A string with your 3rd finger. So that's the first measure. And then starting on the 2nd measure, we put our fingers back down for the C sharp minor again. Do the same thing, A, B, G, A, take those fingers off, B, G, D, and then with your pinky, you're going to reach up to the 7th fret of the low E, and then that's the last note of that measure. So. And then on the 3rd measure, we go back to the C sharp minor again, same picking. Take our fingers off again, and this time we just go B, G, D, A, and that's 3 measures. So. All right, and then so for the last measure, we're going to come down and do an A suspended 2. So I'm on the 2nd fret of the D string with my 2nd finger, and the 2nd fret of the G string with my 3rd finger, and I'm going to pick the A and D string, 1 and then strum the chord, which is a quarter note, so it's 1 and 2. Then we're going to come here like we're doing a B5 power chord. So our 1st finger is on the 2nd fret of the A string, 3rd finger is on the 4th fret of the D string, and 4th finger is on the 4th fret of the G string. And you want the high E and B strings to be open. And now we pick again A, D, and strum the whole thing. So. And then it would just repeat. Alright, next we're going to look at the opening riff for Monkey Business. So for this one here, I'm using like an overdrive tone, but I've just got my volume backed off on the guitar, so it's a little bit more, almost kind of like a bluesy kind of a sound. So we're going to, with our 3rd finger, we're going to do a slide from nowhere. We're going to use our 3rd finger to basically bar the A and the D string. And we're going to do a slide from nowhere to the 4th fret. And then we're going to follow that by barring the 2nd fret of the D and G string with our 1st finger. And then use our 3rd finger to go to bar the 4th fret of the D and G. So that's like the first measure. And then beginning on the second measure, and this is one of the more difficult parts, we're barring the D and G string, and we're going to strum that, and we're going to do a hammer on to the 3rd fret with our second finger, and then pull back off. And then follow that with our 3rd finger back to the A and D string 4th fret. 1st finger back down to the 2nd fret of the A and D string, and then back to the 4th fret. Okay, then from there, we do that same thing again. We do the slide from nowhere to 4, back to the 2nd fret of the D and G, back to the 4th fret of the D and G, and then back to the 2nd fret again, and we do that same thing. So the riff, you actually play through it twice. It looks different on the transcription because the very beginning of it here, this actually starts on the and of 3. So it's like and 4 and. And then on that last one, we're going to go to the 2nd fret of the D and G string, and we're going to strum that and slide to the 4th fret. Then on the and of 4, we play the A and D string open, and then bar the 2nd fret of the A and D string. And then that rings out, and then the whole thing just kind of would repeat when the vocals start. All right, and then the last one we're going to look at is a riff from Rattlesnake Shake. Now, this one, as far as just playing the notes and everything, is fairly simple, but it has a bunch of pinch harmonics in it. So, I'm going to attempt to always hit the pinch harmonics, but it just doesn't always work out that way. And if this is something that's new to you, to learn how to do pinch harmonics, it's too in-depth to really kind of go into right here, but there are other lessons on this channel about how to do this. But in a sense, what it is that if I hit a note, what I'm trying to do is you choke up on the pick enough that when you pick, the guitar pick picks the string, the very edge of your thumb also touches the string. And just depending upon where you're at is, where you'll get it. Like what kind of, your tone setting, what kind of pickups you have. There's a lot of things that vary to make that easier. Like my guitars that have active electronics, it's much, much easier to hit the pinch harmonics. All right, so with this one, we're going to start off with our 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. And we're going to play the low E string open, palm muted. And then we hit the 2nd fret of the A string not palm muted. So, and then back to one more palm muted low E. So keep your 1st finger where it is, and then put your 4th finger onto the 5th fret of the A string. One more palm muted open low E, and then to the 4th fret of the A string with your 3rd finger. And you want to try to hit the harmonic there. So that's the 1st measure. Now, that's a quarter note, so it's beat number 4, and then that's tied to the downbeat of 1 on the next measure. So you've got that ringing out, and then you hit the low E, back to the 4th fret of the A, low E, to the 5th fret of the A, with a pinch harmonic. So that's like half of the measure, or half of the riff. Then on the 3rd measure, it's the same as the 1st measure with the exception of one thing. So we've got the 2 palm muted open low E's, and And then when we go to the 5th fret, we hit the harmonic and try to bend that at the simultaneous. Then followed by the open low E to the 4th fret. So that's the first 3 measures, which is like the majority of this part of the riff. Okay, and then to end it on the 4th measure, you're going to take your 2nd finger, put it on the 3rd fret of the A, and your 1st finger onto the 2nd fret of the D string. And we're going to pick this A, D, G, and then, like you're doing in E minor, 2nd fret of the A string, 2nd fret of the D string, A, D, G, and then with your 3rd finger, hit the 3rd fret of the low E with some vibrato, and then it just starts over again. Alright, so there you have it. 3 not too terribly difficult, highly recognizable fun riffs to play by GN'R. So if you like this lesson, be sure to give me a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about this or other guitar-related topics. If you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we upload throughout the week. Well, that is all I have for you today. Thanks for watching and have a great day.